See, now that the power companies have all this power to shut off our electricity whenever they feel like it, all they're going to do now is act like wildfires or campfires out of control. Like, seriously? Smokey the Bear must have started it.
Cal Edison has just warned it may turn off power to 53,000 business and residential customers because of expected Santa Ana winds. Customers are in the Santa Clarita Valley, Agora, Malibu, Simi Valley, Altadena, San Bernardino, and the neighboring cities, and the Santa Ana foothill communities in Orange County. Edison will intentionally cut power off if the winds are strong enough to bring those power lines down, which could rapidly spread wildfires. Now, those red flag warnings are set to go off sometime tomorrow.
That's right. And we start with a warning about extreme fire conditions in the coming days could lead PG&E to shut off power as early as tomorrow morning, affecting tens of thousands of customers.
We'd rather be cautious and protect that community by shutting the power off as those conditions surround it than have a risk of a fire.
But the last time the utility company did that back in October, it didn't turn the power back on for some residents for days afterward.
Here's the latest for you. PG&E says about 70,000 customers in 9 counties may have their lights turned off to prevent a major wildfire. Some of the local counties include Nevada, Placer, Plumas, Sierra, and Yuba. Now, the high fire danger is also forcing CAL FIRE to boost its staffing statewide.
10 o'clock, and it goes all the way to about 7 o'clock on Friday morning. Red flag warning in place. Now, the stronger winds are going to be in the usual spots, west side of the valley, adjacent hills over here to the west, around the perimeter of the valley. And this time, it's going to be into the foothills and the west slope of the Sierra. And we're talking maybe gusts in the neighborhood of 40+ miles per hour. And there is a wind advisory in place, but looks like they changed some timing on this. But there is a wind advisory that is in place, and that goes all the way through the day tomorrow.
It uses specific criteria before shutting down the power, including a red flag warning from the National Weather Service and sustained winds of 25 miles per hour and gusts up to 45. Now, it also considers local temperature, climate and terrain, and field observations as well.
Another red flag warning begins tonight at 10. We've been monitoring fire danger in the East and North Bay Hills, and a chance that PG&E could cut the power to tens of thousands of customers.
As many as 70,000 people in our area now getting informed by PG&E that their power could be cut off in the next couple days as the winds pick up and that fire danger does with it. Now, this meeting has turned into quite a packed house. We shot a little video earlier. The room absolutely full with folks who want to know more about what PG&E is doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, et cetera, et cetera. You can kind of imagine the questions they have. Now, back at 5 o'clock, we pretty much laid PG&E's explanation for all of this out for you. They explained to us the necessity for cutting off the power, why it takes so long to get the power back on once they do, et cetera, et cetera. And I kind of characterized that as PG&E trying to get folks in the habit of this emergency power shutoff regimen that we find ourselves in about a year after the fires last year. Well, this is going to be a very hard sell for a lot of folks. We spoke with one gentleman who was coming in here tonight. Listen to how he describes what PG&E is trying to do with these emergency power shutoffs.
I think it's all about their lawsuits. They've been sued several times. They're in the middle of negotiations with the state, and they're trying to get the state to indemnify them against any future liabilities.
So you say precaution in the face of liability.
That's what this is all about. This is all about training the customers to get used to this type of procedure whenever they feel like there's a possible danger.
While his employees make repairs inside the busy Forest Hill garage, owner Bobby Adams waits on a delivery.
I'm buying a 12,000 watt generator today. It's supposed to be delivered tonight.
That generator will keep the lights on and machines running when the power goes out.
When the power did go off, it was because of heavy snowfall, and nobody showed up anyway on those kind of days when it snowed real bad, so I didn't really see the need to have a generator until now.
Now, because PG&E can elect to turn off electricity during fire weather conditions, like high winds and low humidity with dry vegetation.
We do this as a last resort and out of a concern for safety for the communities that we serve.
But not everyone likes the utility's new approach.
The last time we were out for about 20 hours, and it was very difficult for us. I mean, we're sitting up here and customers are being turned away because we're an all-electric restaurant, and so if I have no power, I can't cook.
Patrick Thompson, owner of Mega's Cafe, says that cost him $1,000, and he's now fielding bids for a generator that could cost him 12 times as much.
That's a huge return on investment to put $12,000 in and maybe use it, maybe not use it.
Following a power shutoff, it can take hours, if not days in some cases, for PG&E to restore power.
Once the weather conditions that made the power shutoff necessary have passed, we have to go through and inspect all those lines visually to make sure that there was no damage.
After a shutoff a few weeks ago, PG&E did find some damage to equipment, including damage to poles and down lines. This new form of wildfire prevention, a big change, one that Bobby and his garage will have to endure.
Now on Night Beat, extreme fire conditions in the coming days could lead PG&E to shut off power as early as tomorrow morning, affecting nearly 70,000 customers in 9 Northern California counties. But the last time the utility company did that back in October, it didn't turn the power back on for residents for days after.
This giant generator behind me off of Highway 29 is PG&E's backup plan if they once again have to cut the power to Calistoga because of high wind red flag warnings on the eve of another potential public safety power shutdown by Pacific Gas and Electric in Calistoga, a mea culpa from the utility giant.
This was a very big deal for us as a company, and it was the first time that this happened, and we know based on that experience that we need to get better at this, and there's a lot of room for improvement.
When the utility cut the power last month, it took 3 days for the lights to come back on, costing the tourist-driven town.
The last time this went up, I'll be very honest, it was over $150,000 loss in business. What I'm hearing from PG&E is basically tough. You just got to do it till we figure this out.
Among those businesses experiencing losses was Calistoga Roastery. Clive Richardson estimates the shutdown cost him $3 grand.
Closed my business for a full day. I paid staff for turning up and having to send them home because we didn't know when it was coming back on, and I throw away all my perishables.
What PG&E is calling a PSPS, Public Safety Power Shutdown, was the first of its kind for the giant, and in response to PG&E equipment being named as the cause of several of the fires behind last year's deadly wine country firestorm. Beyond business owners, the questions from the crowd were tough, calling PG&E policy into question.
Why haven't I seen anything up there on the chart that states that you were going to bury the lines and use your capital expense account to bury the power lines?
And accusing the utility of not considering the human side effects of the shutdown.